Why aren't you using boredom to your advantage? The 1% do, and look at what they're getting. Don't you want that? You can get it, and that's why I'm making this video, because I want to show you how to use boredom to create the life of your dreams. Now, for a long time, I lived a life I wasn't happy by, and I want things to change, but I never had the motivation. But then I learned that I actually don't need motivation, I need boredom. And once I learned how to tap into that and use it, that's when things changed for me. I started a business helping others reach their goals. I created several guidebooks I am proud of, and I became the YouTuber I've always wanted to be. And that's all thanks to boredom. And now I'm here to share with you what I learned so you can tap into boredom for yourself and use it to create whatever it is you want to create in this lifetime. But first, I need you to understand what boredom truly is. Because until you understand what it is, you won't be able to tap into it. Now, the best way for me to explain to you what it is for us to go back to when I was a little girl learning about boredom for the first time. Back when my mom would drop me off at my grandparents'. Now, I hated getting dropped off at my grandparents because they lived deep in the country in this really small house and they had no internet. Now, I would come from a household where I was always online playing games on my computer. I'm texting my friends, my group chats. I'm just always doing something. But my mom would drop me off over the summer, and for the first day of me being there was literally nothing for me, okay? There was nothing. All we had was a radio and a small black and white TV. And the channels on that wasn't even entertaining. So I would be so miserable, and time would crawl by, and I'd be thinking, Mom, come get me. I have nothing to do. I can't even text my friends. I can't play my online games. I can't do anything. But then the next day would roll around, and I would adjust so fast to having no internet and having no easy way to entertain myself. And I found other things to do. Like I would have the motivation to sit outside and read for hours on the swing. I'd go play basketball outside. I'd dig holes outside. I'd play cards with my grandma. I found things to do that was fun for me, even if it wasn't highly stimulating, like being online. Now, when my mom came back and she picked me up, I would immediately switch back into being constantly online. That boredom never even could touch me. But then I would get dropped off to my grandma's. The first day it'd be horrible. Then I would get used to it, and I would adapt and do low stimulating things like digging holes and playing cards and reading. And then back to my mom's, high stimulation, back to my grandma's, low stimulation, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, looking back on those days, I have a much better understanding of what boredom truly is, which simply put, it's just low stimulation. When I was with my mom, I've never faced boredom because I always had highly stimulating things around me. I always had a bunch of TV shows I could watch. I was always online. I always had my phone on me, my game. There was nothing that wasn't entertaining right in front of me. But when I went to my grandma's, I was instantly thrust into a low stimulating environment because I didn't have the internet. So I couldn't easily hop on things and entertain myself. We had a black and white TV with channels I didn't care for. So there wasn't many things stimulating me, and so I felt bored. But then I would eventually adapt and do other things that were low stimulating that was finally fun to me. Because if not that, I was just gonna sit around and do nothing and suffer in my boredom. But because I had no other choice, it was easier for me to find other low stimulating things to do, because at least it was something. You feeling me? So if it hasn't clicked in your mind yet, the 1% are living low stimulating lives, whereas the masses are living high stimulating lives. The 1% are constantly bored, whereas the masses are always entertained. The 1% are living their best lives, while the masses are living the worst lives. So how can you live a low stimulating life where you're constantly bored and living your best? That is what the rest of this video will be about. But before we get into that, if you don't know who I am, my name is Faith, and my entire goal with this page is to help you reach your goals and change your life. Now, if you're interested in that, if you want to reach your goals in 2025, if you want to be more productive and make changes happen in your life finally, then go down to the first link in my description, click that, and I will see you there. Now, let's get back to learning how you can use boredom in your favor. And I'm going to explain how with a quick story. A while ago, I was sitting outside eating strawberries and poking at an anthill with a stick because I was so bored out of my mind, I thought my head was going to explode. I was so bored. I thought my head was going to explode. I need you to understand that. Like, I felt so drained and sad and tired. Time was going by so slow. I didn't know what to do. Now, I could have easily gotten rid of my boredom by just getting on my phone, watching TV, or even playing the game. But I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to make it easy to get rid of my boredom. And so I sat with it, and it was horrible. It was horrible. And then I got a random idea in my head to read. And because reading was a lot better than sitting around bored, I went in my room, I got a book, and I started reading. And before I knew it, a few hours passed by of me reading this book. And when I got tired of it, I said, well, what if I just clean the bathroom? And so I cleaned my freaking bathroom on a whim. And then when I finished cleaning the bathroom, my mom got home and I decided to entertain myself by bothering her. And that was my solution for the night. Now, notice the one thing I didn't do throughout that story. Do you know what that is? Go ahead and comment it right now before I tell you. The one thing I didn't do was run towards easy sources of entertainment to get rid of my boredom. No, I stuck with my boredom. I did not run from it. And that is how you're going to live a more low stimulating life where you're going to be bored and thus live your best life. Because when you run away from your boredom, the second you feel it, you're not going to feel any drive to do anything. Because why would you want to put down your game? Why would you want to get off your phone? Why would you want to stop watching TV when these things are so highly stimulating and entertaining to do something that is boring as cleaning your room, working on your business, reading a book, meditating? Those things are slow paced and boring. They're low stimulating. And you're not going to want to do that unless you have the motivation to do it. And that's what tricks so many people up. Because they're always saying, well, I need motivation. They know you don't. Because if you instead pivot, and instead of the moment you feel bored because you aren't doing these highly stimulating things, instead of running back to them, what if you just sat with that boredom? What if you didn't try to get rid of it with easy gadgets? Well, then you're not going to need motivation anymore to do the things that will benefit you. Instead, you're going to think about doing those things on your own, and you're going to do it because at least that's better than doing nothing. Imagine I told you, look, for the next 15 minutes, you're going to sit in this room and just stare at this blank wall and do nothing at all. And then 5 minutes later, I come in and say, hey, I gotta clean out my car. Do you want to help me clean my car? You're going to jump at that. Yes, it's a chore. You normally wouldn't want to do it, but because cleaning a car is 10 times more exciting than staring at this boring blank wall, you're more driven to do it. You don't really need motivation because you want to do it because it's something. That is the beauty of boredom. Boredom gives you bored motivation. And bored motivation is when you are driven enough to do something you normally wouldn't want to do to get rid of your boredom. For me, that falls down to making videos, because if I wasn't making videos right now, I would be sitting in my room doing nothing. I want to let myself get on my phone. I want to watch TV. I have no TV in my room. I got rid of my gaming system, so I'd be bored. So right now, recording videos is fun to me because this is much better than sitting around doing nothing. So please stop entertaining yourself the moment you feel the slightest bit of boredom. Sit with it, endure it, go through it, because you're going to reach a breaking point with that boredom. And once you reach that is when it's going to shift into bored motivation. We'll naturally be driven towards doing things you normally wouldn't want to do to get rid of your boredom. And yes, I know, dealing with boredom can seem so freaking hard. It can. And it's even harder because of this highly stimulating world that we are in. But if you want changes to happen in your life, if you want to join the top 1%, you gotta do things differently. And this is a lifestyle change you can implement that will make a big difference in your life. And lifestyle change is living a low stimulating life where you're bored more often than not. Or you can be like the masses who never experience bored motivation because they're always entertained, constantly entertained. All they do is stare at screens and they feel no desire to do anything else. Then as night comes and they're laying in bed, drifting off to sleep, all they feel is empty void. They want things to change. They want things to be better. But they never have the motivation to do the hard work needed to make those changes happen. But they never feel that motivation because they're never bored. They're never bored enough to feel the motivation, to feel driven to do the things, the hard things that actually change their life. And so they're caught in this cycle of they want things to be different, they want to improve, but they're never bored enough to make things different, to improve things. Because they're constantly entertaining themselves. Do you want to be caught up in that vicious cycle? Because if you do, I promise you, you will go through this life never fully reaching your potential, and you will die with so many gifts and talents you could have given to this world inside of you. And since I know you don't want that, the best piece of advice I can give you is to start living a low stimulating life. Now, if you got this far, and you need more help, you need one-on-one assistance so that you can stay accountable, that you can learn more, and that you can skip past the learning stage and get real tips from somebody who's been down your path, I want you to go down to the first link in my description and click that. But ultimately, you've got this, and I believe in you.